While in Santa Clarita, California, detectives struggled Friday to attribute a motive to a school shooting carried out by a Boy Scout, with no obvious alarm bells in his background for the carnage he unleashed. Nathaniel Berhow died Sunday after being in critical condition after shooting himself in the head at the end of a 16th birthday rampage that left two fellow students dead. The puzzle of what led him to open fire at Saugus High School, a short commute from Los Angeles, deepened as a picture emerged of a quiet yet sociable teen who was familiar with guns but had no history of troubled behavior. Our Eagle News team spoke to a survivor and some parents about the horror of the most recent school shooting in the country. Eva Basallaje reports.
At around 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, a 16-year-old male Saugus High School student opened fire on the campus, injuring 5 students before shooting himself in the head with the last bullet of his .45 semi-auto pistol.
Well, I was waiting outside of school before second period along with all the other classmates. That's mainly when everyone waits out there because it was close to 7:40, and not a lot of kids have a first period, so literally most of the school was out there for second. I was out by the tables next to the quad where the shooting happened, and at first, the first gunshot at the time we all thought was like a balloon popping, so we didn't think anything of it. So we looked over to the area where it came from, and then there was a kid running towards us, and we were like a little confused. And then less than 5 seconds later, we heard 3 more gunshots. So everyone around me just dropped their stuff, and we all ran out to the parking lot.
The shooter was brought to the hospital and listed in grave condition. Of the 5 victims hospitalized, one 16-year-old female and one 14-year-old male died later from their injuries.
I can't put it into words, and I know how these other parents must feel because I'm feeling like this and mine are safe. And I don't have anything to worry about tonight. I worry about tomorrow. And I worry about all the days that follow, and it's horrible to say, but I don't want to be them. I don't want to be put in that situation. I feel so horrible for all of the children that had to see their friends go through this. Every single student at this school, whether they were there or not, are affected by this.
Feel helpless. I mean, I'm just sitting there all day long watching the news, you know, looking at Facebook, see all the posts and stuff like that, see how everybody was all upset and wanting to know, do you know where your kid is? You know, any word, you know, and just all day long just sitting there waiting for somebody to say something. It was a tough day.
We've been following it on the news all day, and we just had to bring our energy over here as much as we can because it keeps getting closer and closer to home.
Yeah, no direct ties other than feeling like we're an extended community of here, of everywhere, yeah.
I can't imagine what these families are going through and what the families from all the other school shootings have gone through, and it's just gives me the chills, and it makes me terrified and worried at all times.
Well, it's obviously had a huge impact on the community. It's a fairly close-knit community to begin with, and so it's really struck a chord here. My daughter is a senior at another high school in the area, and her high school was on lockdown for the morning. So she was shaken by that. So I came home from work, and we've spent the rest of the day just together trying to process what was happening.
Brought together by a tragic act, the community draws strength from each other as they try to make sense of the violence that struck their neighborhood.
Know anything about Santa Clarita in this area? We've been going through a lot with all the fires for over the last few years. We've had some friends affected by it, and we find that we all just come together and we're there to help and support them.
Together we stand, divided we fall. We will stay together. This is a community because of the people that make it. It's not a community based upon geographical location. It's a community based on the fact that we are of the same mind, the same heart, the same soul, and we will overcome.
that our support
That
we love them. We love them.
We're
We're sorry for what happened, and we're hoping that all these kids that went through what they went through today and are strong enough and keep fighting for what they believe, and they have a lot of people behind them to stop this this nonsense with gun violence.
This community is very resilient. I mean, just a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, it was struck by wildfires. The community came together to support each other at that point when people were losing their homes, and really supporting the responders, the firefighters and others who helped to address that situation. This community has gone through a lot, and it's going to continue to be resilient and bounce back.
Saugus is we move forward. Like, we take what happens and we learn from it and we move forward. And like I had said previously, it definitely brought us closer. So we're all going to use each other's strengths to like help us through it and like understand the situation and help each other out. But we're a very bounce back community. So we're going to take everything that happens and just move forward from it, recognize what happened, and try and prevent anything else from happening like this again.
As the chill of night descends on the city, residents are undoubtedly keeping watch over their families, hopeful that the warmth of a new day will also bring with it the promise of healing. In Saugus, California, Eva Basallaje, Eagle News, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Eva. That is today's Eagle News. Join us again tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Eagle News. Thank you for watching. I'm Ace Ramirez, 1 with 25.